Ladies and gents, welcome to another round of 16 in Warlords here. Round of 16 matchup in Warlords. This should be a banger. And most of the sets thus far in Warlords 3 have been really, really good. Yet again, Warlords 3 is a 9 villager start, and we are just a little bit behind where they are at the moment. So expect the early stages of Dark Age to be done with pretty quickly here. We've got Vinchester in the blue, Vinchester playing as the Saracens, and then we've got ACCM playing as the Hindustanis. And so, you know, both of these civilizations excel with camels. I do wonder if we'll actually see any camels because of that, right? Because a big reason you make camels is to counter knights. Technically, Saracens could make knights. I kind of feel like we just won't see knights at all. And maybe we won't see camels. And if we're not going to see camels, I would say that we're probably going to see archers. And if we're going to see archers, Saracens could excel with that. But I'm maybe getting ahead of myself. Gold's pretty far forward here for Vinchester. This is going to be a really concerning area for him if he doesn't lock it down. And Hindustanis have a pretty solid scout opening, which I could see ACCM going for in early feudal here. Now, I was going to say something important. I was going to talk about this. Oh, yes. A lot of people predicting ACCM to do very well here. Many people referencing his results in Hidden Cup 5. Hidden Cup 5, like the biggest event prior to this one, I would say, or at least more recently. And yeah, ACCM played like a beast. He was top 4. We took 2 games off of Hera, right? He had 4-0'd Tato. He played really strong. Vinchester, I feel like he's in great shape here, though. And while I think Vinch is the underdog slightly, I will say that I like Vinch's draft today. And I think from a game plan perspective, what game plans are possible, I think Vinch is going to be a really good spot. It's weird for me, all this confidence I have in Vinch, because I haven't actually seen him play a ton recently. But I don't know. I feel as though he's going to be bringing his best today. His best, like I said, could be a problem for ACCM. So... okay, so I feel like this is a good time to say it. So I believe I'm allowed to spill this. That I only know the Civ matchup. I don't even know what map it was. Usually I hold back from saying things about any player's practice games unless they say I can say that, right? But it was in a Twitch chat, and I think if you say it in a Twitch chat, the whole world gets to know. Isn't that right, guys? So, yesterday, Tato was in Sato's chat. People were just kind of chatting. And Tato said he playing practice games with ACCM. And his longest 1v1 ever happened. He said it was 4 hours. I don't know if that was game time or if that was, real time. But it was a 4-hour 1v1 in a practice series versus ACCM. It was practice, right? And he says after that, when that game ended, ACCM, they call the GG, and ACCM goes, Tato, I go 2-minute break, then we start. And Tato was like, bro, I'm done. I'm not playing more. ACCM just needed a little smoke break, and he was ready to finish the series. Tato was like, no, that's it. I'm not playing anymore. And ACCM was like, oh, okay. I just thought that was really funny. A small thing here. So ACCM saw that Vinch was on gold, opened a range to go skirms, and Vinch ended up switching off of gold, trying to go scouts anyways. Really interesting that Vinchester's tried this. And really sloppy if he loses a villager here, I have to say. That is just the starting scout. And it does feel like he's going to be able to get his walls down here. Now, I don't know. Vinchester, he had seen the range, guys. Of course, I picked that time to tell the story. That's pretty epic stuff. He saw the range, so he figured his opponent would open to counter him. But now, ACCM working his way forward here with Spears and Skirms, just trying to break through these walls. I think, you could still expect Vinchester, as the game is lagging here, to be able to utilize that gold, get back over to gold, and just buy and sell his way up to the next stage. But I will say, really sloppy start for Vinchester with his scout control. He was really focused on getting the walls down. This scout's almost dead. One of these scouts is almost dead. He took a lot of hits. Honestly, it could have been so much worse, though, if ACCM ended up getting through. So ACCM, he's got a weak scout in here. And ACCM made a lot of spearmen. But yeah, we've got full walls. And this is always an uncomfortable position when you're playing against the Saracens, because the Saracens can kind of skip some steps, right? Skip some steps by simply just using that market. But yeah, anytime ACCM is playing, people seem to expect the series to go on for a long time. But that's just because he doesn't break, man. Like, he is comfortable to play it late if he has to. And he always seems so consistent. He's got a crazy mentality for long games, apparently. And the other thing, too, is like, you know, stamina is a very real thing in Age of Empires. It clearly has a lot of stamina, right? I think, like, in my case, I feel as though I struggle. I'm actually, the longer the game goes, the better my win rate is. So there's that. But I really struggle to play multiple games if many of them are very long. That doesn't seem to be an issue for ACCM here, as Vinchester just adds another scout to kill that scout, which is interesting. And Vinchester's just going to repair this wall here. It almost feels like Vinchester really wants to engage against this and push forward here. I want to see if ACCM noticed the range at all. Yeah, ACCM wasn't able to see that range with his scout before the scout went down. So yeah, you know, not the most aggressive Arabia game ever. We've only had that one kill. Now it's a bit of a guessing game for ACCM to guess what his opponent's going to do here. But I think you always assume archers because... And the reason you always assume archers is not necessarily because of the tech tree or the bonus that the archers have to break through your walls, which is obviously very nice too. It honestly just comes back to the fact that how are the Saracens going to utilize their market bonus? They're going to use gold. So they're going to send Vils onto gold so they can buy food and whatnot, right? And it only feels natural, in my opinion, for them to just go archers in the meanwhile. Not to mention that if you go for like... Not to mention that if you end up going for like knights here, you're up against Hindustanis, which they have good camels. And then you're up against walls, so you can't break through the walls. So yeah, archer feels like the most obvious choice. Vinchester really trying to force the issue here. He wants that map control. And it wasn't the prettiest engagement ever for Vinchester. Again, it's been really sloppy unit control so far. Like, he really has not been kind to his scouts. But he gets some map control, kills that army, and still has a scout left over anyways. Yeah, guys, I think, honestly, I'm so torn. I have to speak to Capture Age about maybe moving things around. You can't even see ACCM and Vinch's full name. I don't want to remove Vinch's team, but you know, his crypto sponsorship, which I mean, guys, if enough people contact ACCM, his username is going to be towards the mini map here, because he's got like crypto sponsorship, his name, and then his team. I really like having the player names and the teams on the scoreboard there. So it's still going to have whatever ACCM wants, I guess, at the bottom right. And people were confused because of that. So, that's not crypto. That's just gambling. Oh, I thought it was a gambling crypto thing. Either way, I'm just going to have ACCM's name like that. I think that's reasonable. And it's going to be crossbow play here for Vinchester. So, I really think Hindustanis are a matchup civilization. And what they're looking for is they're looking for the camels to have an effect. The camels against good knight civilizations. Or, in some cases, up against good archer civilizations with maybe the ghulams. But this is an awkward spot right now for ACCM. He can't really utilize his camels. And he's going to go for elite skirm, which is, of course, I think a good choice here. But he doesn't have the biggest skirm mass. So you might need to also mix in some siege here. Look how fast Saracen archers destroy buildings here. Like, this is before Vinch gets any upgrades, right? And, oh, actually... Man, Vinchester's been a little slow to reacting here. That said, it's kind of hard to expect that there, because he was thinking he was going to break through. ACCM's about to get Bod Canero. The scouts from Vinchester are actually behind here. And wow, that was sick micro. Did Vinchester really get out of there only losing one archer? That was disgusting, actually. I thought he was going to lose like 4 or 5 archers there. And now that he's got his upgrades and elite skirm isn't in yet for ACCM, ACCM needs to be careful. ACCM being attacked by these scouts. Vinchester gets a villager kill. And there's a knight here for Vinchester in combination with his crossbows. These skirms now need to go home, but they can't because it'll let the army into the base. And this is an amazing spot for Vinchester, guys. Still has the scouts here. And ACCM's really going to have his work cut out for him. Look at how much is happening here. The crossbows are back on the house. The knights on the skirms. The scout. Vinchester's being such a nerd. Really microing around now. And like we said, I think like ACCM, he wanted some damage in feudal. He wasn't able to find it. And then ever since, Vinchester's just been able to play strongly towards, you know, pushing out across the map. And this could be a quick one, guys. I'm not seeing an eco that could really survive this. I'm not even sure what your ACCM can make from this position. I thought maybe he placed this TC so he could shift onto stone to eventually get a castle. But that's going to take a long time, right? 3 villagers have gone down. And, man, I mean, we're really seeing the Saracen market and how that has helped Vinchester here. But also the archer bonus against buildings. Look how fast this house is going down. And you just don't have time. Vinchester's played it perfectly. He played it passively at the start so he could get to this point in castle. And now the big question is like, can he close it out? And sometimes players, they don't have that extra step in them throughout a series, right? They can get big leads. I think a lot of people here feel as though, you know, this is a position. I certainly feel like this is a position that Vinchester should maybe be winning from. But maybe if you're trying to do a little bit too much, maybe if it, you know, you start to lose some armies and you don't focus on the eco, then you could have some problems. But Vinchester clearly like just full micro at this point because he recognizes the skirms are chasing him down on this side. He's moving in on this side. ACCM was probably looking at the crossbows over here. And more villagers go down, man. And this is just a slaughter right now. And the Siege Workshop is actually a great idea, by the way. I'm only going to go back and say that this was too much if he ends up, you know, if he doesn't end up completely killing ACCM with this. Because he could just opt for the economic approach, and a lot of players would do that. See, Crossbow Knight is so good against good camel civilizations. And the problem for ACCM was he doesn't really have the best crossbows, so he didn't try to go for that himself. He felt like he was forced to play into counters. This is a good clear up, though. Nice job. ACCM forced to run back into his base, but he does kill quite a few crossbows there. Again, no second town center for Vinchester back at home. I do like his eco setup, though. It's not like he's only relying on gold. And he's going to attempt to push with this position here. Only has 3 crossbows with the Mangonel coming here. But he kills some villagers. He's still camping the gold. There's like no real easy way for ACCM to get gold right now. And ACCM can't even make a Mangonel. He doesn't have wood. His wood situation's brutal. And how many people have been here where you're stuck because you don't have a market? When you get attacked in 20 different spots, your best friend is a market. So you can balance your economy. Vinch is playing like a beast here, guys. Notices he's being attacked here. We'll just reposition now. Knights are going to loop around. Make ACCM work. ACCM has to back away. Vinch is just waiting for a Mangonel to pop out. And he wasn't expecting it to pop out from there. Well done, ACCM. That was really well done, but still it's a 1-for-1. And still he is surrounded. We talked about ACCM's fight and how he just refuses to give up. We're seeing that here. Vinchester is on town center number 2. Both players missing any Castle Age eco technologies right now. Feels like these crossbows could eventually be killed off here. Because the knight support isn't really there anymore. So that would be good for ACCM to maybe get back to that gold. Still losing villagers here, though. Losing villagers here as he tries to get quick walls in on the gold. And Vinchester's actually going to try and escape here. That's just insane. That is just insane. Look how fast they break through those walls. The Saracens flow so nicely. And this is, guys, this is without the camel bonus. Like, now they have 140 HP camels in Castle Age as well. So you try and go, like, full knights against them. They're one of the best civs at dealing with that. Saracens are truly, truly dangerous and extremely well-rounded these days. And if you're an aggressive player, they're maybe one of the best civilizations for you. ACCM has lost 14 villagers this game. But he still feels like he's got a chance, maybe. He's only behind by 5. And he's going to drop a castle. I mean, maybe Ghoulims could do it for him. Ghoulim's a pretty good unit against the crossbows. Oh, man. These knights finding their way in. Always finding gaps. This would be overwhelming for me, man. If this is the first game of the series, and I've got someone on top of me like this, killing me like this, I would not feel very confident for future games. That's not how ACCM is going to see it, because he's played Vinch many times. I'm sure he has certain confidence level based on his experiences, and also maybe based on his practice and whatnot, but this is a slaughter, guys. Vinch has come to play today. And like I said, I thought Vinch would be showing an excellent level here today. Look, and it's not as though his eco is big sacrificed here, right? Like, he is applying this much pressure with solid economy. Meaning the farms, right? He's got good farming eco. He's got like 25 farms. He might have the 3rd TC here soon. He did delay the town centers a long time, but he's really just putting on a clinic on how to engage with 1 TC. He's got armies everywhere. ACCM cannot keep up with this. This is over. And hopefully for ACCM fans, this isn't like kind of a sign of what's to come, but Vinchester has simply just picked every single spot he can to raid and is there every other second, it feels like. He'll be through this range soon, and then knights can just stream into this base. Vinchester gonna lose a monk, most likely. Trying to snag that relic. Does have some knights around to kill the skirms, though. So yeah, if he just runs away, these 2 knights are gonna kill those skirms. And then here, knights are finding more potential with Vil kills. Dang. How many subs would you give to the stream if ACCM wins this? If ACCM wins this game from here, I'll gift 100 subs. Suddenly, everyone's become an ACCM fan, but I'll go with the 100. Wait, that castle... Vinchester. Vinchester. Deny the castle, bro. Vinchester. There's a castle. You have a mangonel. This is fine. This is fine. We've got knights for Vinchester. He's completely fine. He's attacking the... he's hitting the gold area again. He's killing tons of villagers. He's going to have like a 30 villager lead. ACCM barely has eco, honestly, to make many Ghoulims right now after losing 33 villagers. Relic number 2 is going to go to the monastery there for Vinchester, and Vinchester's going to drop a forward castle. I'm not nervous. Vinchester. Guys, he's done a lot this game. He's done a lot. Vinchester's allowed to have some small missteps here or there. At the end of the day, what ends this game is a forward castle. And maybe even the Imperial Age. And he is going to go for a very forward castle. I thought he would just place it where his villagers are standing right now. He's like, no. I got to place it right on top of the guy. That way, T90 doesn't have to give 100 subs to the stream. And yeah, Vinchester's continued to play perfect. And there's no way this castle gets denied at this point. ACCM still fighting. Still refusing to quit. Even though he's got 4 army and is being castle dropped. Only freaking ACCM would say, you know what, let's play on. Everybody else would call the GG. What is this? This is so ACCM, man. Like, everyone memes about it, but this is bad. This is bad. He just refuses to quit. I think it's part of his strategy. I think when he knows he's dead and keeps playing on, he might do it to annoy the opponent. I don't know. There we go. There we go. GG's called. What a great opening to the series here for Vinchester. Played extremely well. I think the Well, there were a couple interesting things in this game. Initially, when he was on gold, his opponent assumed archers, which forced his opponent into the skirms. And then he just shifted into scouts, right? And what he was able to do... So it's kind of two things. First off, ACCM initially made skirms, which was the wrong choice, right? He couldn't kill Vinchester or break through the walls or anything with skirms. But then he actually stopped making skirms. And this is a weird thing. I normally don't think about it this way. But he stopped focusing on skirms because he said, oh, my opponent's not making archers. The skirms he did have died. And then later on, he ended up being against archers anyways. And he was kind of like, oh, crap, I need skirms. And he didn't have enough in time, right? So I think it's a pretty big thing. Now, folks, I let Capture Age know that this is bugged. And unfortunately, we did not have an update last night. So I'm still not at all publicly pressuring Capture Age to potentially update that for us. But we could just quickly look to the game statistics, I guess, and just show how much Vinchester dominated there with resources collected. And it's not going to come as a surprise to you guys, but he collected a lot more resources here. More of every resource. And I mean, gold, 6,000 more, food, 3,000 more. It was a clinic from Vinchester in terms of how to be aggressive there. And we'll see if he can continue to apply that type of pressure against ACCM here today. And here we are. So we're going to switch the colors. Because I just think this matches so nicely. And welcome, ladies and gents, to game number 2. We've got Migration. And look at their civs. Guys, I don't know if you're ready for this, okay? I don't know if you're ready. Promise me you'll stay after this. You've got to be kidding me. We've got Dravidians. It was... In my head, that joke was going to be so much better. It's Dravidians for both. Dravidian, you know. Not my best work. Again, basically the first two civilizations these guys picked on the draft, they actually picked the same civs, so we might see a mirror matchup later on in the series, but won't happen all the time, but can happen if the players use their hidden picks and pick the same pick. It's kind of nice, you know, with different tournaments having different draft preferences and all that. The reason that Dravidians are strong is because of, well, there's so many bonuses, but I'd say starting off, you have the population space from the dock. You have the carrying capacity on the fishing ships, which is really strong. But the plus 200 wood you get in Feudal and then Castle is super helpful on a map where you need to spend a lot of wood on, say, transports or ships. So that's the basic breakdown of the situation here. These deer are trolling Vinchester at the moment, which is kind of funny. I think they originally spawned around here next to the shoreline. And they just keep bugging out a little bit. Vinchester even shot one there just to try and get it to calm down. So, I feel like the best thing... actually, you know what? I don't think Dravidians have a best thing they can do. I think that Dravidians could go for Feudal Age, or they could go for Fast Castle. But an approach that I think is way stronger on this version of Migration is the Fast Feudal Forward Dock strategy. Because this version of Migration has such a tiny little freaking island, man. It is so easy to transport and walk across to the other side. If you watched other tournaments with Migration, the land area in the middle was bigger because the map was always a little bit bigger. But basically, the map is smaller than previous versions of Migration. Like, the overall size of the map is a little bit smaller. And the water amount stayed the same, which means there's less space for land. And because this island is so freaking small, it's also really difficult to expand your economy in normal ways. So I really think water matters a lot more. Water has always mattered a lot here, but water matters that much more, I'd say, in Warlords 3. So, I actually played a Migration game with Dravidians last night. And I went for the same approach as ACCM, where I went for double dock. And it was just add fishing ships and go Fast Castle. Double lumber camp and then double dock. Your goal here is to get up to like 10 fishing ships. And then go 3 or 4 docks, tons of navy, and go for Castle Age. But Vinchester's up already. And Vinchester kind of surprised to see what's going on. He's got to go 2 docks. Interesting. Okay, so if I had to guess, I would say Vinchester actually goes galleys here. But I think it's important to go 2 galleys and then add your own fishing ships if you're Vinchester, because it takes so long to get the galleys over to the opponent. I don't know if investing in too many of them makes a lot of sense. I think 2 galleys could go kill fish. And then, from there, you use that time to add some fishing ships behind. But yeah, I talked about why I think Dravidians are so strong. Just look at the wood count for Vinchester and how he's able to spend it right away. It's so nice. Boom. Gets all that wood, can get his eco upgrade, still has some wood left over, and then he goes for galleys. But the big question is, does he make the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th galley? He is going to go for a 3rd galley. So, typically, the player who goes fires in the defensive position is going to have fire ships out right around the time the galleys are going to arrive. Which is why the second wave of galleys, so like any of the galleys beyond whatever the dock number is, so in this case like 4, 5, 6, typically those numbers, by the time they're there to assist, could always be a little bit of a problem. We've got ACCM transporting, and this is the more standard approach from ACCM. And he wants villagers in the middle. He should know galleys are on the way from his opponent because of what he's seen with the uptimes. He's going to build a barracks in the middle. Yeah, so ACCM's looking to control the middle area with some pressure here. Transport ship out and about. Ray is in chat. Ray's talking through his Migra build orders. Ray's pretty solid on water maps, man. I don't know what it is. Ray, I played Eli last night on Migration. We've got so many US players. I don't know if you're 2K at the moment, Ray. But we've got, like, a lot of US players who are obsessed with water maps. You being one of them. I don't think Ray's 2K, though. I think, what are you, like 1800? I don't know where you're at. We've got a fair amount of clowns and Black Forest players from the US as well. And then you've got me. I'm not a clown in Loving Arena, but I am just a clown in how I act, All right, so here are the galleys. Now, there's a whole lot of galleys from Vinch, right? So let's see if I was correct on the theory. He's here to snipe fishing ships. Will Vinchester get enough damage done before ACCM can fight back in Castle Age? Because ACCM is on the way to Castle Age. Honestly, Vinchester's micro is insane here. Look how quickly he's taken out those fishing ships. And he's not hesitating when he runs into the fires either. Still hasn't lost a unit here. Vinchester's playing amazing today. And he's got 7 fishing ships behind this. But this is where some problems could come in, guys. If a forward dock goes down for ACCM... Oh, man, if that dock goes down, fire ships are going to stream directly into Vinchester's fishing eco. Does Vinchester notice this? Vinchester needs to deny this dock. He noticed it. He noticed it. That's a big deal. Yeah, because the idea here is once War Galley is in, ACCM wants to just get those upgraded fires right here to kill the fish, and he would kill everything. So he's going scouts to stop villagers from having control, but there's no villagers yet for Vinchester, and Vinchester's done a really nice job. He killed another villager here. Vinchester's playing out of his mind. Important thing, as Vinchester has a transport somewhere, is he's actually going to have, he's going to get loom, which is really important here. But yeah, ACCM is looking for him everywhere. It's like, where is he? The issue for him is he's lost a decent amount of water control. The positive here, though, is that he's got 3 minutes to fight with upgraded fires. And this should give him a lot of time. I know it looks bad for ACCM right now, but and this is continuing to look worse for him because Vinchester is just so confident. But if Vinchester continues to make galleys, he could have problems. I would really like to see him. He's already got enough galleys. I'd really like to see him focus on some fires. Makes life a little bit easier for him. And he's got to be careful. Wherever that transport is, there it is right now. He's got to be super careful going to the middle. But if I'm not wrong, he actually saw the scouts from ACCM at one point with his ships. So, yeah, he definitely did see something. And I think he should know that the meta is to have some scouts towards the middle. We might even see like 2 spearmen. Wow, this is so smart. A couple spears into the transport with whatever vills you take over. ACCM sneakily adding some more fish here. He's like, I'm safe now, right? He's not going to pressure me for a while, so let's add some fish again. And he's going for the second TC, and he's snagging relics. I mean, all these things are really important. Yeah, Space Can. The thing about the Dravidian carry capacity with their fishing bonus is that you don't really feel it until later stages of a map like Migration or Islands. But I agree, it is an underrated bonus for them. I always do mention it in Dark Age, but it's like much harder for me to show you than the wood bonus, for example, right? 19 galleys for Vinchester. 19 galleys. About to be war galleys. Yeah, ACCM cannot deal with that. This is ACCM's point of view. Vinchester is going to show him that he's here. And that scout is going to kill that monk. Transport ship's actually going to be sniped, possibly, for Vinchester. Vinchester's really going to want that. He's trying his best to keep this thing alive. He might end up blocking with the galleys, and Vinchester's playing out of his mind. He's playing out of his mind. The guy's playing amazing right now. I'd be concerned if I were ACCM with the amount of micro that Vinchester's showing. But for now, ACCM still has time to make more ships, and he still has his fish alive. And he does know about this. And, like, this TC gets denied, this would be brutal for Vinchester. I think ACCM, like, maybe should shift some villagers onto stone. Think about a castle here. It feels like a siege workshop, certainly, to pressure this position would be so nice. Oh, no. ACCM going to lose another monk. And those war galleys are still making their move. The thing about war galleys, too, is they can help from the shoreline, right? So if they're able to help from the shoreline, then villagers could be exposed on the gold. Monks can't be as useful from the monastery. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That spearman that was converted. So used to be Vinchester's just ended up... Oh, my God. Oh my God, Spearman's a legend over here. Spearman's done so much. Also, I think ACCM recognizes that Villager's weak. It seems like he's going back for it. Siege is going to be on the way soon for ACCM. His fish and his ships just relocating. Honestly, guys, like, I think you need to try and distract on land while you engage with the fires on water. The downside of the galleys, for me... Oh! Oh, man, that was huge. The downside of the galleys is that you have to pay attention to them all the time. Fires in the messy games, a lot easier to control here. But what ACCM will not have is long-term water control, most likely, because he's losing his docks. It doesn't feel worth it for him to invest into many more docks right now. That's a lot of fires, though, with careening now, so they've got some extra armor. At Vinchester, an important thing to mention here, guys, was on stone with his starting island, so he knows that getting some type of castle here could be useful. What he doesn't have is siege, though, and siege could even be difficult to use because there's light cav out from ACCM, so keep in mind that like score is always pretty deceiving on this map for when one player has more water than the other. I do think middle control is going to be extremely valuable here. But it's those 13 fishing ships for Vinchester that are going to be so valuable to him. And I don't think that ACCM is expecting Vinchester to have this much. Wow, Vinch is actually expecting to lose this TC, and he's dropping a castle back here. He was even scared of placing the castle there. He's placing it really close to the TC. Well... things get interesting. It'll be a couple relics and the middle control here for ACCM. He's got like 20 or so villagers here. He can push this TC, but this TC is kind of stuck in the corner, you know? Hard to get too much value from that. These fishing ships have been told to do as much as possible while they can. And ACCM's villagers on the starting island have been told they're not going to have anyone pick them up. They're stuck there forever, so get real friendly with each other. Get to know each other, because you're going to be stuck with them for a long time. Wow, nice demo there from ACCM. He's really been sneaky with that. But his fishing ships have gone down. Okay. So, a lot of people watching right now would still feel very stuck in Vinchester's position, and they wouldn't know what to do. But Vinchester understands that this is all about the fish now. And look at him redock. So he's adding docks, he's adding fish, and he's going to have like 20 or so fishing ships bringing in food. He's going to bring in way more food than ACCM. Now, ACCM's got the farms here. He also has the berries here. And soon he can drop a castle, so things could get interesting. Oh my god. Oh my god. Guys, Vinch doesn't see. He does not see this dock, nor does he think this is a problem right now, because his fish are on the other side. ACCM is going to try and transport... Ah! Ah! Oh my god, that was so close! That was so close! I mean, wait, no! ACCM, get out! Oh my god! Woo! I'm losing my mind here. That was dangerous. And Vinchester noticed that too. So Vinchester should know that that is a possibility now. And if he knows it's a possibility, then I think ACCM should maybe not try that again. Forward castle for ACCM makes sense. I like this move a lot. And he actually has the resources to maybe click up to Imp. Vinchester does not. There's a couple Yurumis over here. There's, of course, some Navy around here. But the Navy, it's not doing immediate damage right now. And this TC could still be ranged by the siege. Vinchester could still lose this game. Nice job from ACCM to protect this TC from the Yurumis. And yeah, ACCM's just trying to get demos wherever he can. Yeah, because you don't want to be done on water at this point, if you can avoid it. But, so you're hoping that, like, that demo helps you later on if you come back on water. You just can't focus on water right now. Wheelbarrow is such a weird move. Hey, Vinchester needs Imp, and Vinchester's going to go Imp with the safe TC, as one should do here. Well, guys, the Yurumis have not paid off. I mean, I say they haven't paid off. It's just awkward to find some benefit from them. Because they're a slow infantry unit. And they do cost food and gold, right? So that could have contributed to how late the Imperial Age was here for Vinchester. What can pay off is, like, Cannon Galleon. But I'm curious on Vinchester's gold situation. He doesn't have any relics. He does have this gold here. And he will have this gold here for a little while. But, like, honestly, I think if ACCM just trebs all this down... Like, Vinchester could just lose all control here, and these villagers might not have anywhere to go. They might not have anywhere to work. They could be picked off. It could be really awkward. Oh, God, Yurumis were transported, guys. That is actually really smart from Vinchester. Because ACCM has just been trying to avoid the shorelines. Which he can only do for so long as well, by the way. Like, but he doesn't necessarily need this wood if he has access to this wood. So... Vinch figures that maybe Skirmisher would make sense, and I would agree. I think Bombard Cannon would be really useful for both. And then, especially Vinch, like, if he gets Chemistry, he can make Cannon Galleons from the shoreline. And Cannon Galleons from right here, or right here, might just end this game. I still feel like ACCM with this timing, like, and how cramped this map is, I really think that he has some good potential here. I know it looks bad for him. But starting off right with the Trebor is important. Oh, man. Vinch is in a really nice position here with these Yurumis, though. They killed a couple villagers. The Yurumi's going to get converted, but I don't know what you do with him now. even microing this all the time. Vinchester going for Archer Armor. He doesn't have Bracer on the way then, which would help his castles, which would help his ships. He is going for a Treb, but Vinch actually doesn't have... Well, he's not on this stone. I wonder if he's going to have the recognition to realize he needs to get some bills over to that. He's going to drop another castle over here. It feels like he's just expecting to lose this castle. So he wants to make as many Trebs as he can. Vinchester will have skirms. Skirms will be great against everything but the siege and the castle. Both players are Dravidian, so they have the same bonuses, right? But, like, faster firing skirms feels like the obvious choice then. God, Vinchester continues to be so aggressive. ACCM's given himself a shot. He's taken out that castle. He looks to move forward here. There's probably some level of excitement for him until he sees the skirms. But there's bombard cannons and there's mangonels. And Vinchester's gotta be careful here. And Vinchester's gonna lose his skirms. Vinchester lost all of his skirmishers. And like we said, right, there's so much potential for Vinch. There's so much that he could do. But guys, he's adding the cannon galleons. He's moving his navy around. But he's losing this position right now. Oh man, just disastrous here for Vinchester. And ACCM just says, I don't care, man. My job's simple because I don't have anything else to live for. I live for the middle. I live for the middle and I live for taking out this castle. And there he goes right now. Vinchester actually using villagers to try and take out the Trebs because he doesn't really have anything else yet. The skirms are microing down the crossbows. It's an interesting situation because the villagers may actually really pay off here. And if you have the fishing ships, you might feel like there's nothing else you really want to do here with your eco anyways. But Vinch just can't focus on this. He's losing so many siege units, and now he's lost his castle. Now, guys, what's crazy here is Vinch still has the population lead. He still can make bombard cannons over here, and as long as he has enough skirms to protect those bombard cannons, with the proper micro, he holds this position. Because the cannon galleon's going to be out somewhere. I don't know where they are, actually, but they should be on the way somewhere. And that should be really disrupting ACCM from the shoreline. Another bombard cannon goes down. Oh, man. I mean, guys, I said I played with Dravidians on Migration last night. I could so relate to Vinchester's situation right now. It's pretty much the same script. It's just like the opponent knew to push with a slightly faster imp. The map is very tiny, and things start to snowball on you so fast. This Siege Workshop producing bombard cannons is so important for him right now. And Vinchester micros his bombard cannons away. He's holding, guys. He's holding. These skirms have done a great job at killing off many of the crossbows and the bombard cannons. His lack of hesitation is pretty insane today. And he holds this tiny little sliver of land. And now ACCM running out of resources. ACCM maybe will try and come back on water. Still lots of focus on land for both of these two. As we have elite cannon galleon and shipwright on the way for Vinchester. What? Shipwright is so expensive. It's 1,300 resources. But if you think the Navy matters, which it will here, that's a tech to get. And elite cannon galleons now from the shoreline going to start to chip away at some buildings here. Vinch still no ballistics, which is kind of interesting. He may never go to his university again, honestly. He might think he has that tech. You can tell that you don't have that when you are fighting, though. And crossbows coming over here now for ACCM. I think trying to go after the cannon galleon. And yeah, crossbow just feels like such an awkward thing to be making at this point if you're ACCM. But fire galleys here would be insane. Still no galleon tech for Vinch, so just war galleys. I don't know if ACCM's necessarily going to have the time to make what he wants to make, but man, his bombard cannons have just destroyed this game. He's got 25 kills with these bombard cannons, including a new bombard cannon kill on this side. But now he's kind of getting constricted, right? The towers were a good play at his base. Just the military count for Vinchester is insanely high. Half of that is Navy. And half of that Navy isn't always effective. And also no war galley upgrade yet. So I could see if ACCM can afford fast fire, the fast fire's making it awkward here. But now the relics are gone. Ooh, that hurts. And Vinchester sniping a bombard cannon from distance here. And just after that, though, he looks away, thinking he's fine, and he loses one. Huh. Huh. Vinch is definitely looking somewhere else at the moment. I think he's reacting here to these fires. And ACCM with a beautiful, a peach of an attack round. Wow. Vinchester is collecting Navy to deal with this right now. That's why he's distracted. And no, the fast fire upgrade. Huh. It's a down fast fire, 97%. And you won't realize that as a player until a minute or two later. Because you know you clicked it. And you're just expecting that upgrade to be on the way behind a ship somewhere. Skirms and cannon galleons are also making ACCM's life difficult over here. ACCM is slowly getting surrounded. I mean, he is surrounded at this point. And the biggest issue is that now ACCM will lose these castles. Because these docks are probably going to go down. These cannon galleons from Vinch should take out these castles. So ACCM pretty much has to push here. And Vinchester just has to hold this position. Man, guys, I don't know what your career aspirations are. Just a suggestion. Do not sign up to be a bombard cannon in Vinchester's army, okay? You could sign up to be a Vil, a fishing ship. I would definitely want to be a fishing ship. You know, maybe a couple skirmishers. But do not sign up to be a bombard cannon in Vinchester's army because you're just going to die right away. Everything else is more than fine, though. It's so funny to me how Vinchester's just looking for any land control. But, guys, the control he has is more than enough, in my opinion. The skirms are finding plenty of kills. The cannon galleons are the key. And ACCM is going to find himself down 2 games here against Vinchester, who is playing at an insane level. He really is coming out strong here. I think, like, Vinch had a year period where, you know, in people's minds, they went down in terms of what, you know, we expected of him. I know he was busy with life. I know he was traveling. I don't know his exact situation now. But certainly right now here for Warlords, he is looking in excellent shape. We do have ACCM trying to come back on water over here now. But it feels like by the time that he could possibly achieve that, he may have lost everything of importance towards the middle. I say that, and he's got more forward docks going up again. So maybe I'm wrong. He does lose that castle. He's about to lose this castle. ACCM needs to get fires onto these cannon galleons fast. This gives plenty of time for Vinch to realize that his opponent's coming back on water since the docks are over here. Vinchester. Yeah, he's just played great. Like, I've seen the galley play that he's gone for here lose so many times. And, I mean, again, we kind of made the joke, but he lost endless amounts of bombard cannons. But he just always still maintained good fight and good control. I think the skirm choice was really good for him. Also, look at the map and try and look for the fish on the mini-map for me. I'm going to go back when this game ends and show you what it started with. Actually, what we could do is we could look at, like, food left on the map. So there's 17,000 food left on the map. I'll be curious to see how much this map started with because, you know, per my assessment, like, those fishing ships just really put in a lot of work here. Fished over half the map here. And the GG's called. ACCM forced to tap out. Doesn't have enough to engage against the cannon galleons here. He doesn't have enough to stop the skirms here. He doesn't have enough here. And Vinchester up 2-0 here in this best of 7. ACCM has not underperformed, in my opinion. I think the strategy that ACCM actually went for is also the strategy that I would expect to be the most common one of the two. So it's not as if he went for something out of the box. It was just excellent execution from Vinch, excellent use of the galleys, and excellent use of the timings. I mean, think of all the little details that he needed this game. He had to stop the forward dock. He had to kill the fish. He had to add his own fish. He had to transport but not get his TC denied. So, like, the Spear Edition was super nice. Then he lost so much land control. He still held on. He still played so nicely there. Very well played. And he finds himself up 2-0. Now, I wanted to see. So, we have 17.6k food remaining at this point. What about the start? 36,000. So, some of that, of course, is going to be, like, the water buffalo or the deer. So, let's go to, like, 5 minutes. Okay, 35,000 food left on this map. Of course, there's berries. But you could say the majority of that food remaining is fish. And then at the end, there was just 17,000 remaining. That were those fishing ships just fishing away this whole time. He actually had some fish traps over here too. But like right near the tail end, guys, there's like, did he not have fishing ships around here? 17 fish, it says. He's got like fishing ships moving around everywhere. They're still working. And like they worked their way all along the edge of this map that whole game. Well played from Finch. I think what ACCM needed is he needed to snipe those fish and he needed to do a slightly better job on land. It's like he tried to snipe the fish, couldn't really do it. That's fine. He needed slightly better execution here towards the middle. I think if he's able to push Vinchester off the mainland, he could probably find opportunities to maybe come back and win water. Oh, that's true. I can't just double click the fish. I'm stupid. Okay, well, let's do that then for the people. So this is not counting shorefish, though. So we have to... Oh, God. Oh, they're box turtles, too. I got to click the box turtles. Okay, so... No, this isn't right. There's different types of fish. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. We're not going to click the fish. There's different types of fish. There's too much to click. 2-0 for Vinchester. Beastly performance so far. We got Khmer for Vinchester here, guys. Here on Sacred Springs. The first time we've seen this in Warlords 3. On this map, you have 4 springs where all the shorefish are. And I suppose the monument makes it sacred. So, you would think, with it being sacred, that people wouldn't, you know, spill their blood and guts all over it. But that is exactly what's going to happen. Because the people are going to be fighting over the sacred springs here. Because that's a lot of food to utilize. I think both players have chosen a civilization here that's pretty good for this. Usually on this map, we're seeing scouts and we're seeing spears. So Romans are pretty perfect for it. I think Khmer are as well. Being able to hop inside the houses is a really nice bonus with the Khmer, so you could build the houses on your springs. Bit of a difference in approach, though. Vinchester actually walking out to take the boars, which takes a little bit of villager time, obviously. And then he's going to mill the shorefish later on. Whereas I think ACCM is not counting on using any boars. Nope, I'm wrong. He's going to bring in this boar. Oh, he brought in this boar too. Okay, so ACCM's like, why not everything? I just didn't realize ACCM had brought in that first boar so quickly, and now he's got a second one. Nice. Now, the big woodline in the middle is going to be really valuable, but also the gold there is valuable because you only have this main gold otherwise. And an area we're probably not going to talk about ever is this pond. Okay? If we ever find a legitimate reason to talk about this pond, I will give 20 subs to the stream today. People have been generous. I'll be very generous with that bet. How's that? Doc Muffin Man, thank you for the prime. Thank you, Europhile. Eurofall, sorry. That was a fail. Azza, thanks for the year. Kettle Punch, thank you for the 9 months. He says, 9 months plus being an eternity long smelly YouTube viewer. Hey, T90, 2 questions. What was your favorite mountain range you saw on the trip? Number 2, can you make a gym shirt saying researching loom for me? Oh, I like that merch idea. A gym shirt with researching loom. Oh, Hardy, are you around? We got to put that on the list, man. I would wear that crap. It says, thanks for keeping this ancient game amazing alive. Hey, I'm doing my best. Favorite mountain range has to be the Denali Mountain. It has to be. Formerly known as, like, I think McKinley's Peak or something. But yeah, that was just incredible. I would highly suggest if you guys ever go to Alaska, I can talk more about my trip at another time. But the drive from Anchorage to Denali is just beautiful. It's like a 4-hour drive. It's just one road. And then like once you're driving towards Denali, it's just the mount. You're just driving right towards the most magnificent mountains you've ever seen. It's just gorgeous. But yeah, I mean, we also went on some pretty cool hikes. I just don't remember the mountains. It was like kind of in the same range though, So no surprise that Vinchester's come out here to take the fish. Vinchester, he's built the house there, but you would actually need 2 houses because you can only fit 5 villagers in each house. So I think that's kind of an important thing to remember here. He hasn't added a barracks for any spearmen because he didn't need to add the barracks as Khmer. And some people feel like you still need to add the barracks a bit later on for spears. We'll see what Vinchester chooses to do. But ACCM needs this one, guys. And he's just really sending it here. Going forward with spears and skirms, looking to immediately pressure this. And Vinchester has got to be careful here. Vinchester's already on gold right now. So he's already on gold. He wants to mix in some archers here. He's got no food underneath his TC because he didn't find these sheep. He doesn't really need food, but he needs a job for those villagers to do. And he needs to be careful here. Again, I think you need a second house, man. Even like where this house is positioned could be awkward because the Vill's got to have to path an awkward way to get there. Maybe even a tower. A lot of players would tower here. Vinchester says, screw your tower. Well, no, he says, I'm going to do exactly that. But he doesn't have another house here, guys. The house is completely out of position, but oh my god, the villagers just... That's got to be frustrating for ACCM. The villagers get the job done there. ACCM should know the tower will go up, but he wants that weak Vill and snipes it. Would love to get the archer as well. Vinchester, unable to save the archer. Does complete the tower here. And the tower does some decent damage here against the spears and the scouts. So, like, Scout Archer is really strong here. I think Scout Archer is an amazing composition. I also don't think ACCM was expecting to see scouts from Vinchester so quickly. Having said that, look what ACCM is allowed to do. He's able to expand to these fish. And he could continue to build and refresh mills over there. So, like, having this control is amazing for ACCM. And you can see that reflected in the resources collected right now. He's trying to cut off the stable and the archer range from each other. And Vinchester's unit control is really strong. And has looked really good the last couple moments. And he just says, I'll take out your spears. And now he can push back. Sick. I just do wonder, what do you do with every new Vill? Like, where do you send them at this point? Send them to wood? Do you farm on this map? I think farming on this map could still be... I mean, it's nice to mix in. What elo are these two players? They are both over 1,000 elo. Technically, that's true. But they just happen to be at like 2,700 elo, you know. But they're over 1,000. In case he wanted to make other people feel better here. Nice engagement here for Vinchester at the start. ACCM drops the tower, though. And similar situation to what we saw with the tower from Vinchester, right? Is one player tries to dive to deny it. And they take some losses because of it. But I still think with how weak these scouts are, this is an amazing position for Vinchester. And with this tower being up, I think ACCM is all but fine, at least until he has to move over to these shorefish, so. Well, no sign from what I can see that this is going to be anything but mainly scouts on the offensive side for ACCM. He's got 2 stables. Vinchester, he's going to head over here now. It's much easier to get there with the scouts, right? So he's like, all right, this is my opportunity. And bam, there's a spearman waiting for him already. So it's really awkward to get archers over here because it just takes so much time. The scouts could just run over here, no problem. Only 1 villager has been killed by Vinchester, make it 2. But that's 3 total villagers this game, and 2 scouts went down there. I don't think that's necessarily worth it. We definitely caught Vinchester quick walling his woodline there. And now he's got to quick wall his gold as well. It's going to be 6 scouts for ACCM in a second. There's no spearmen on the map for Vinchester, so He's going for fletching for his archers, but I think he could end up having some problems here. This could be problematic. He's going to finish these fish pretty quickly, but for now he's safe. Market from ACCM makes me think he's going to try and make his way to Castle Age. Sorry, to answer the question, sorry for being sarcastic. So 1,000 elo is pretty much around average punching ball. There is actually, maybe someone can link a Reddit thread or something to you, because I think there's been some things posted on Reddit that shows the elo discrepancy. Or not discrepancy, but, you know, just the breakdown of elo from all levels. But these two are top 16 in the world. Honestly, these guys are so high ranked that it gets to a point where people don't even care about elo anymore. They're just like, what are my tournament results recently? Full upgrades on these scouts. These scouts are going to be really strong, man. There's a lot of damage that is being done over time, though. And it's really awkward to engage with the scouts through this choke point, isn't it? Oh, things are about to get interesting, people. Things are about to get interesting because ACCM is all in here. He's going to go for more scouts. Vinchester is on the way to Castle Age. So we've got Castle Age, hoping for crossbow. That'll take 3 minutes. There's so many things that could go wrong. I would be completely dead here if I was Vinchester. I would end up losing a lot of vills somewhere. I don't know where, but it would happen at some point. And ACCM clearly knows at this point, right? He's like, he hasn't added spears. I need to engage against this. And this is going to be a slaughter. And not only that, ACCM is going to bring the boys and girls to rush down this tower. I love this. I love this. That way the scouts can fight off the army. The villagers actually do some bonus damage against the towers too. And Vinchester is going to be completely dead. Trying to go up to Castle Age on this map was maybe a mistake. And, I mean, he could still make it to Castle Age. There's nothing ACCM can do to stop that. But what on earth is Vinchester going to make when he makes it to Castle Age? He is not going to have eco anymore. I would laugh if ACCM actually just made a mill here and just started to take the fish. But, yeah, he's just going to... These guys are just going to box down the house. It's a tough thing. I feel like I've heard people say you need to make spears with Khmer so many times. But honestly, it's at a level where even if he had 3 spears, he still dies here. There's just too many scouts. There's too much food income. We've even got a tower over here from ACCM. So he can control that side. Vinchester can make some knights maybe out of the stable. He can make a couple knights. He has to win this game. He has to come back with those knights. His food income is now 4 farms. And I think ACCM should expect that it's going to be knights. He can get armor on his spears. It's actually the perfect position for that extra armor that the Romans get. It's going to feel really nice to defend from this, I'd say. If you're well, it's not going to feel nice, but you can afford to lose a couple of villagers here and still be comfortable, I'd say. And Vinchester can't afford any upgrades either, so that was just such a big economic hit. The toughest thing for ACCM will be having the spears in every location, right? Like, he's adding them here, which makes the most sense. But if the knights go to the other side, there would be a problem. Vinchester pushing those scouts away. But he's now getting hit on the gold even. That's going to be awkward. ACCM sees his gold's exposed. Gets some palisade walls down. Bringing the vills away from the shorefish over here. He just needs to bring a couple spears over to deal with this. As he has Vinch completely off of gold. I liked the scout archer idea from Vinchester. I think it was just too tempting when his resources started to climb. I played on these types of maps where you just have crazy food income all the time. And if you stall out production for just a minute, it feels like you can go up to Castle Age. And I mean, Castle Age can swing these types of games. So it's not like it's completely, you know, it's not like it's the wildest thing I've ever seen for someone to try that here. ACCM just punished it so perfectly. And the GG's called. And we still have a series, folks. ACCM just relying on spears and scouts, sorry. And Vinchester tried to go for the Archer-Scout combination, but the Archers were good to pick off the spears once the Scouts got in a high enough number, and once they had the upgrades, that's when the Archers didn't look like they had much of an effect anymore. And when it's Bloodlines, armor, and attack, Scouts are not going to care about a tower and 8 to 10 Archers, especially when there were so many of them there. I loved how much commitment there was there from ACCM. That was my favorite part. It was like he didn't just engage, he also brought the villagers to batter down the tower right away, just in case he needed more. He also brought villagers over here to deny this as well. He was active on the golds as well. That's the ACCM that a lot of people picked to win this series. And we've got ourselves a series, like I said. So, well played from him. Romans was a nice pick for this map. And also, I'm not seeing a ton of shakiness. When a player is off, when a player is losing games they feel they should win, sometimes the shakiness can seep in, and you can see it in their gameplay. Very little shakiness here from ACCM. Just full focus mode from him. Oh, man, guys. This game has best game of the series written all over it, okay? And we've had some pretty solid games in this series. But this game, this matchup, has produced so much fun content over the last 2-3 years. I can almost guarantee it, okay? We've got humans here for ACCM. The Civilization, where if they're playing on a closed map, you just know they are going to go fast feudal into a second TC. It's almost a guarantee, right? In fact, I'm going to wager if ACCM doesn't build a second TC in feudal, man, I'm taking some risks today, guys. Some big risks. If he doesn't do that, I will gift 25 subs to the stream, right? Look at that. That is how confident I am after earlier betting 100 subs. It's ACCM. If it was someone else, I'd be 100% certain. I'm now 99% certain because ACCM can do some crazy things. But I think what's fun about it is, I mean, it's the only civ that could build the second TC in feudal, okay? And you always have to pressure it because the economy that you could get on the back of a Cumin 2TC boom is wild. Now, I also think it's a bit easier to achieve with the 9 villager start. The build is a little bit more easy breezy. The thing is, though, is that any fast castle play should be more easy breezy here for Vinch. Wow, Vinchester bringing back the classic strats that he used to do all the time. He's actually using his scout to bring in his boar right now. Now, if you've watched me and you've seen him do this before, I have complained every single time. I don't like it because normally I want the scout to have its HP. So I'm okay with this if this scout gets healed up in some capacity, or if he doesn't have his scout exposed in feudal. And I say in feudal because when ACCM is in feudal, and there he goes, his scout will likely be patrolling the area hoping Vinchester makes the mistake. Hope you enjoy this. Oh my god, there was a third bird? Did one of them just give birth? Or did I look away for a second and one just flew through the party? Oonts, oonts, oonts. What is happening? What is happening? It's right over the middle of the map. I feel like there's going to be something of importance that happens right here. I'll keep you guys updated. But yeah, I mean, having your scout is a big deal. So losing the scout would be a problem. Vinchester's logic behind this, if you're wondering why he would do this, is it's better for his economy to not have villagers walking out to get the boars. I think a big mistake would be to leave his base right now because he's going to be up against a feudal age player here soon. The feudal age scout is faster, especially with the Cumins, and it would likely kill that scout. So, town center position. Normally, it's on a wood line. I think TC here would actually be perfect. You have wood and gold. And I think ACCM is going to agree with that. Wood. Farm upgrade will follow. And it's just spamming villagers. And I encourage you guys to pay attention to the bottom left of the screen. Resources collected, a really important stat here. And that's not going to really start to get crazy until after, you know, the human players had like a 15 villager lead. It takes time for villagers to pay off, but then it just skyrockets. I don't know why I didn't have the guts to bet 100 subs. That's a lot of subs. I guess that's why, but this is a pretty much a sure thing that ACCM would do this. And there's some tiny things here that I could try and make interesting for you guys, like some of the tiny details. For example, not leaving all of his pigs underneath this TC. He then actually brings one over, because what you want more than anything is food right now. So it's like these guys will finish the TC and immediately slaughter that pig. So, you know, then these villagers will naturally go to wood, and then he's going to pull them off and make farms. It's just these... Again, it's maybe not so interesting to watch, but this is how you have to develop your eco with the humans. Now, notice the stone is forward for ACCM. The golds would be on the back. What is Vinchester's plan to stop this? It honestly feels like Vinchester is not going to push at all. Oh, the birds. Oh, no, the birds are over here. Man, this guy is really chasing the other one. Dang. Oh, dude. They're on the same path over here. They're pals. All right. Oh, there's that third bird, but that bird's not included in the party. Are there other birds? There's no other birds on the entire map? Weird. It's kind of spooky, to be honest. Normally, there's a lot more birds. Farm Eco flying here for ACCM. Thank you, Ezekiel, for the Prime sub. Thank you, Fletz Winkle, for the Prime sub. Wow, we had 3 new subs in a row here. KBD, welcome as well. We've got a couple new people in chat. People know what to do when that happens, but yeah, welcome. This very much feels like Vinchester is just going to drop a second and a third TC. No pressure would actually make sense here, because if he was pressuring in Castle Age, he would probably want to add spears to defend any monks. So I think we see... He says, you go 2 TC, I will go 3 TC. Obviously had to make... You know, make it all the way to Castle Age and be 15 villagers behind to get to this point. It's just... Okay, so here's how this breaks down, right? You can catch up in vills. You can even it. But what you don't have when it gets even is the amount of food floating that ACCM is going to have. Which means ACCM is going to have full map control. And with full map control, you can do so much. You can go take a look at the birds. You can get the relics. You could siege push. Like, ACCM's probably confused at the moment. Like, I personally think the only way to beat the humans is really be aggressive. But the Bohemian late game is way better than the humans, and that's where Vinchester wants to go right now. Someone says they hate this TC from Vinch. Why? I think this TC's fine. This TC is perfect. It is a bit unorthodox to place a TC where it's not directly on a gold or a wood line, but he has the lumber camp. That's not the end of the world, in my opinion. So something nifty that Vinchester could try here. So you make a monk, you heal up your scout, right? You go out and you do some damage to ACCM scout, and then you just bring your scout back to the wall, and you don't actually... You could try and convert ACCM, but that gives the whoa, whoa noise, and then he runs away. So instead, what you could do is you heal up your scout mid-fight and hope that ACCM doesn't notice. Now, ACCM is going to notice because he has nothing else to focus on, but still, I feel like, you know, it's something you can try. It's just, what are you going to do to stop your opponent from castle dropping your face now, Vinchester? I just don't agree with this strategy. I get it. Some people want to say, man, humans are OP, humans are this, humans are that. And it's true. The Civ's insanely strong. But I think in 2024, it's pretty clear now. You got to pressure them. You have to be aggressive against them. If you don't, you're going to be made to pay the price. Vinchester looking to prove me wrong here, so. Project Belgium, what's up, man? He says, T90, I saw your YouTube video about Say My Name playing a tourney drunk. 2 years ago, I played the semifinals of World Rumble versus Miguel hungover, and in 5 hours of sleep, and my level felt like minus 400 elo. Lost that set 3-1. Yeah, I feel like you and Say My Name are just not the same, Project Belgium. Say My Name is just a different beast. Hungover is different than drunk, but I couldn't play Age of Empires efficiently in either scenario. Like, I don't know how he was able to perform so well. I don't know if you saw the whole series, Belgium, but the whole series was phenomenal from Say My Name. And so we're going to see... I don't know if we're going to see Step Lancers or Knights. Maybe none of that, because ACCM doesn't feel like he necessarily needs it. He's scouting the map with just 2 scouts right now. And so, like I said, you look at the Vil count, but you look at the floating resources for Say My Name. Or, nah, for ACCM. Crap, we put another Vietnamese player in my brain. Okay, I really got to make sure it's ACCM. It's ACCM. It's ACCM. Okay. ACCM is going to drop the Monastery to try and snag those relics, and I expect a fast imp on this. Vinchester running around now with that scout, which he didn't heal up, which I find kind of odd. But that's not the biggest deal at this point. I don't think relics are going to be the difference maker. He goes for a conversion. ACCM sees that, and ACCM just runs away. Like, ACCM's always going to see it because ACCM has nothing else to do. These guys are so fast, and it's arena, so it's like... They're just asking for reasons to use their speed at this point. Vinchester's scout needs to get home to the walls. Vinchester caught a glimpse of those villagers there. And here comes ACCM. And ACCM has just played this perfectly based on what Vinchester has done. Or, I guess, has not done. Maybe the only thing is building this castle a little too close. This could actually get denied. There's a chance this gets denied. Because 2 Vils could get converted and a Mangonel could be on the way. Oh, Vinch is housed. Nah, this castle will probably go up. Oh, man, the Light Cav? It might get converted. Those monks were still converting before. Ooh, worth the risk, I think, if you're Vinchester. That would have been really tasty to get those conversions. And Vinch knows that with the castle, his opponent will be an imp. And now he's going to try and imp himself. Okay, so stone walls are immediately necessary. I think walling from your wall to the siege workshop between the houses, monastery, I think all that's key. Chemistry is also one of the next steps here for Vinch. If he can research chemistry, which he's got plenty of time to think about, to be honest, that upgrade will be completed before he's an imp. Bohemians are the only civ that can do that. And that could be a game changer here. And maybe that's been his strategy the whole time. Maybe he expected the forward castle and felt like with fast chemistry, he can win the initial Trebor. ACCM doesn't have a civ that necessarily has the best of units when compared to other units. But what humans can do really well is the timings. And this timing is insane based on the resources he's collected. But Vinch is making me believe that this is maybe possible. I know he's not going to have the relics. I know he'll be completely surrounded, but like... If he gets to Howl Bombard Cannon, humans could really struggle against that. And he should be able to drop his own castle as well, but maybe he needs to build that castle towards the back here. Yeah, that's really smart thinking, man. Like, I say these things, and I can make the decisions based on everything. Vinchester doesn't know the details that we know. You can't think about it in the same way when you're playing, right? Those relics need to go home. ACCM working on that. ACCM makes a treb first thing. Okay. So, we're going to see Pike, which will eventually lead to more barracks and more pikemen, but it's not going to be the immediate priority for Vinch, because Vinch doesn't actually need the pikes right now until these units break through. if those units break through. The Treb from ACCM has decisions to make. Do you go for the TCs? Do you go for a Siege Workshop? I mean, the Siege Workshop could be making a Bombard Cannon right now. Vinchester actually making a Bombard Cannon out of the new Siege Workshop, expecting that to go down. I think it'd be really beneficial for ACCM to be able to run through here. So going for the Siege Workshop is a really nice choice in my opinion. And he's going to take down that Siege Workshop, and there's not many pikemen yet for Vinchester, so the Scorpion, some of these Vills, all will be exposed. It's just been really, really funny, though. Just repairing that Scorpion. You can't lose any Bombard Cannons here. You lose a Bombard Cannon, it could be game over. This is a brutal situation if you do. But, oh, man. Castle Fire and TC Fire protecting Vinchester pretty nicely, honestly. See if the TCs survive. Bombard Cannon number 2 on the way here from Vinch now. Light Cav. Thinking about sniping the Bombard Cannon. Vinchester holding. Vinchester repairing. Vinchester needs more pikes. They're on the way. Kipchaks can kill the pikes, though. There's the Bombard Cannon. The Bombard Cannon's exposed. Villagers will need to repair this. ACCM losing all of his army, though. ACCM lost everything. Are you kidding me? Guys, Kipchaks are not really that strong. Now you have to hope for Treb luck, maybe? Going for the Bombard Cannons? Oh, man. Vinchester. He's been such a beast today. He's going to take one Treb. And he might be able to start a push back. Remember, he lost one of his town centers, though. So, like, his eco could be struggling in some ways. But he has the villager lead. And he's collected almost as many resources as ACCM has. As ACCM now is thinking, okay, I need something else now. ACCM's micro was rough there. I get the idea of why you want to push in that scenario, but really didn't take very good fights. Now, Kipchaks are still needed because you need the Kipchaks for the pikes. And then the idea is you use like Lancers, which he's making, or you know, Light Cav maybe to snipe the Bombard Cannons, but don't tell me Vinch clicks Hoofnitzer right now. Oh my god! The fact that he's clicking Hoofnitzer when he has 2 Bombard Cannons and just lost to TC, his opponent has 5 relics and is all over him right now is wild to me. And Kipchaks gonna make life awkward, and they're gonna run away. They knew what was good for them. So in a minute and a half, these cannons become even stronger. But we see elite Step Lancer here for ACCM. Honestly, I love it. See, Vinchester's thinking the most important thing for him is going to be the cannons. But I think the most important thing for him is going to be Halb. He needs both. And I'm sure he's going to plan on getting both. This is just a micro scenario right now, basically, between the Kipchaks and the Bombard Cannons. Halb upgrades on the way for Vinch. Vinch has honestly played... I could tell why he was just so happy booming now. I would be so completely, utterly dead. I think a lot of players would be. A lot of people feel like they just have to pressure, and there's just no other way to play against the humans. But the way he has played this has been amazing. He really seems to understand how to address this situation. And now he's got Hoofnitzer, and I would be worried now if I'm ACCM upon seeing that. He's hiding the Step Lancer choice, by the way, which could be really good. But Bohemian Halbs do so much bonus damage. Look at the positioning of these Trebs. This is intentional. It is in a position where they can get lucky and hit the cannons. It just keeps this position, holds this position a little bit longer. Man, Kipchaks are so fast. Kipchaks are so fast. It's so funny. Oh, finally he gets a shot. What was that, like 10 volleys? He finally kills a Kipchak. We're going to see skirms as well from ACCM. And a Bombard Cannon went down. Like that. These Trebs, big position like this, is so smart. And it must be infuriating for Vinch. Vinch is thinking, I need to... You know, maybe he needs to make a Treb of his own. He's waiting for siege engineers now for a little bit of extra range. Vinch has to know that there's going to be something more coming at some point. Wow, look what siege engineers did. That one extra range means the Trebs have to move forward a little bit more. Vinch maybe should repair these Hufnitze. Oh, man. Big attack round again from Vinchester. Guys, he's just... Basically, Vinchester has said, take your relics, take your resources. I have enough to make a comp that you just cannot kill. That's essentially what he's just been so patient for that reason. Boom, big shot. Step Lancers, though. Elite Step Lancers. They've got that range, guys. Really easy to engage on a big group like this. And look at them step. They're stepping. The Hufnitze, though, could shoot the stack of them, maybe. But the Step Lancers for ACCM completely slaughter the Halbs. Halbs are supposed to be a counter unit. But it's so easy for the Step Lancers to take engagements. And this is what ACCM was waiting for. And he pretty much just won this game. That's game over right there. Humans win one big fight like that, it's GG. Especially when the relics are in. We're going to have ourselves a series here, friends. 2-2 in a moment. I could see what Vinchester was thinking. In the earlier stages, I was being a little bit more critical, saying that you have to pressure the humans. I still think that. But it felt like if maybe he had an extra, 15, 20 Halbs there, that he's able to win that fight, and then suddenly he's pushing the castle back. Unfortunately, he's just lost way too much eco. He's lost 43 villagers this game. I don't know where ACCM's vills are going. ACCM just clicked his vills onto a castle. Even the villagers are ready to fight. Yeah, maybe one more shot, maybe one more opportunity for Vinch if he can mass up the Hufnitze and the Halbs again. But the skirms, even human skirms, they're still killing off some of the Halbs, which is really the biggest problem now. And the Step Lancers are just going to weasel their way through and poke down Hufnitze. And Vinch can't afford to make more Hufnitze with no long-term gold. He's got this gold, and that is it. Whereas ACCM has this whole map. He's got buildings everywhere. He still has so much of his gold left in his base. He's even going to farm way in the back of his base, just so it's safe. Treb Micro. Oh. Treb Micro. Bonk. Nice job from Vinchester. I mean, maybe a chance? He has his Halb number up higher. I think with... Oh, my God. I think with another shot like that, and if he can get to 50 Halbs, 50 Halbs, 4 cannons can actually just beat everything that ACCM could possibly make. But I think ACCM can afford to take bad trades for a very long time. I like this. I like playing the raiding game. Kind of hard to raid on Arena, but this makes Vinchester's life more difficult, doesn't it? And it pays off. And it's not even the biggest group, right? 5 Step Lancers will do a lot. I think you'd see 5 more. Oh, he's got 2 more over here. Yeah, exactly. You just split sides, hit anything but the main force. Elite Kip check now on the way for ACCM. Looks like the Step Lancers are on stand ground over there. And the Kip checks micro and kill another Hufnitze. Yeah, this is tough for Vinch. Vinch looked so good the first 2 games. But we said that ACCM, despite the losses, also looked like he was in great shape. And the narrative around... Boom! The narrative around ACCM is that he gets better the longer the day goes. Like... He just thrives through very long sets and very long games. More Step Lancers just walk in there and will slaughter vills. And Vinch maybe giving ACCM a bit of his own medicine here by not wanting to call this. I mean, he's down to 50 population. This is a joke we normally make about ACCM. I guess when you have Hufnitze, it's just simply too fun. You don't want to call it, but when he drops down below 50 pop, he calls the GG, and the series is 2-2, guys. I freaking knew. I am slightly concerned. I have something that my house needs fixed. I've got someone coming to my house in 5 hours. No, 4 hours. No, 5 hours. I'm screwed. I'm screwed. The next game is going to be like 6 hours because it's ACCM. And then the next series could be competitive as well. I'm screwed. I pushed back the time. I genuinely pushed back the time for that appointment when I found out that ACCM was playing today. No joke. Sent a text late last night. Was like, hey, excuse me, can you come later? I've got work. And he said, yeah, sure. I didn't tell him what, job I have. But, man, I could see what Vinch was trying there. ACCM executed so nicely there. I love how the Step Lancers was a surprise move. I think in some ways Vinchester expected Cab, but I don't know if he expected the Step Lancers. The only thing Vinchester could have really done there is just add more Halbs. Add more Halbs, maybe a couple monks, but Step Lancers are just really good in those scenarios. Again, my capture age is unfortunately bugged today. I let them know and hoping they fix it, but the big thing we wanted to look at was this. Just so many resources collected there from ACCM, and 2,000 of that gold is from relics, but it's not even relic gold, right? There's so much gold in the middle of the map. Vinchester never left his base that game. He was scared of the world. All right, welcome to Myard, guys. First time we've seen this in Warlords 3. You may remember this from Wandering Warriors Cup, which was 2.5 years ago now. And sometimes you'll see players TC far away from the middle, but not when you're Mongols. It's a Nomad start, but these guys see all the boars and they say, hey, I want that meat. And so it becomes a challenge to get as much of the meat as possible. And the players start with a horse and usually will use the horse to block the boars. Could be a very lamey map. I once saw a game where 6 villagers died in Dark Age on this with 2 pros. I forget who it was. Actually, this is also the map, as Vinchester's looking around for wood right now and can't find it, which is just so unfortunate. This is also the map where we had, I think, one of the most crazy swings in tournament history. And it was just like this unique situation that happened that I don't think we'll ever see happen again. Some of you guys might remember it if you do shout it out, but it was just ridiculous. Now, what is Vinchester doing over here? I guess they don't really have vision on everything. There's a villager. Villager v villager here. That villager might end up dying here. ACCM getting his villager blocked, and now he has to try to block the villager. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. We have a horse blocking a vill, and then we have ACCM trying to wedge his horse between between Vinchester's vill. No way he's actually doing this. Between Vinchester's vill and his own. No way he saves this. No way he saves this. Are you kidding me? Ah! Oh, I'm so sad, actually. I'm so bummed. That would have been such an epic save. Hold on. We could have him return the favor here in a second. This is a pretty long boar lore here for Vinch. Now, both are Mongols. So, I mean, they're both going to bring in a lot of food. That's basically the situation. But I think Vinchester will have the better position here because he should have more boars. Vinch. Oh, God, that was close. What about this one? That was close as well. Yeah, Vinch should have more boars than ACCM, but ACCM... Oh, God, this is such a risk, dude. Vinch isn't even expecting this to be a possibility right now because that is such a far... There's no way. ACCM, you're crazy, bro. Both of them? Both of them? Oh, my God. He's dead. That vill is so dead. There's no way. That is the gutsiest villager on Earth. Now, wait, hold on. He does have loom. So it's round 2 now. Okay. $45,000 tournament, by the way. If he gets this vill home, I will be so happy. This is going to take all day. Come on, horse. He's doing a great job, guys. He's doing a great job, but oh, no. Oh, the villager's dead, and the boar will go back, and ACCM down 2 villagers now. Painful, painful scenario here for ACCM. And, now Vinch is just going to get his boars. Vinch is on the way to Feudal Age. ACCM does still have food. He's going to build a mill here on the deer as well. Oh, man. But this is just... a painful situation. He's placing a lumber camp here. Oh, I forgot there's trees here. Okay, there's actually trees here. It's kind of hard to see them. I think he knows he needs to click up, and he didn't scout a wood line in time. Oh my god. Well, this time he should actually be okay, because the horse just died for Vinchester. That's very sloppy from Vinch. I don't think you should ever allow your opponent to get that one. And he's going to be kicking himself for that. Like, there's no reason not to just bring that in if ACCM has shown he's such a madman, in my opinion. But anyways. Actually, that changes things pretty massively. If he had that extra 300 food, he would fast castle much easier than he might be able to now. Okay, have they removed the tigers from this map? I saw 2 people in my chat call out the moment. If you remind me in between games, I will pull up the moment that I said is I think the craziest swing in tournament history, something we'll never see again. And it was just massive, 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 maybe career implications, actually, for a pro player. Yeah, there's no tigers. So this villager is a good example of it. You see how this vill's weak, right? There's going to be a lot of weak vills on this map because of people bringing in the boars. And it was game 5 in a best of 5, okay, in Wandering Warriors Cup. Backed versus Capoch. And Backed had Mongols. He had more boars. He had an excellent start. He was going to go man-at-arms, archers. He had, like, the fast timing on the attack. All the initiative, right? And he had, like, 4 vills. Let's say they were right here. They were all below, like, 7 HP. All super weak. And there just happened to be a random tiger. And the tiger killed 4 vills. So picture this. He's at 19 pop. Which is normally you're like 19 pop, fast feudal, has all this hunt. It's great. All 4 vills have deer in their hands. He goes from 19 vills to 15 because of a tiger. The game still goes post-imp. Like, he still had the big lead in that game. But Capoch held on, came back. And then Backed kind of retired soon after that. Now, I don't think that moment is why he retired, but that's why I said career implications. Look at this. Vinchester, he's looking for damage. Vinchester doesn't have the scouting intel because he lost that horse. Vinchester losing that horse, that was such a big deal. That meant that ACCM could get that extra boar. That means he doesn't have any clue where ACCM is right now. And here he is. He's going to see the villagers, but he also sees the spears. But he's going to have archers coming forward. ACCM will have scouts of his own, though. So Vinch needs to be careful. Oh, man, and ACCM is going to be feeling a whole lot better now after getting those hits with the spearmen. Now, archers and scouts, we've seen this before from Vinch. Vinch has collected 500 more resources. And you have to transition your economy to other things here. Farming is going to be important. Maybe finding some berries could be important. Another scout goes down without killing something here. ACCM really holding on. He isn't full walled here. Vinchester, he doesn't know there's a gap, but he's going to check. And he's going to see there is a gap back here, and he'll happily just move through. But I think because one of these scouts is weak, I think that ACCM could actually clear this if he can get enough scouts to get over here. Yeah, I could show the clip. I think... Well, I'm kind of interested who saw that moment with Backed Capwatch. Because Backed Capwatch aren't necessarily like the 2 biggest names to draw in viewers, but I was also streaming on Facebook at the time, right? So if you guys didn't watch the YouTube video or you weren't there with me on Facebook, you probably wouldn't have seen that moment. But I know a lot of people here do remember that. Alright. Scouts. And high enough number to clear this, I think. And it's key, I think, to keep the spearmen alive. Yeah, I think that's good enough. The spearmen get a decent number of hits. I say good enough. Actually, the archer hasn't been focused down, and the scout numbers for Vinchester are still decent, but... Guys, I swear, like... Listen, there are defining moments in sets. I've seen it so many times. I've talked about it the previous 2 days. And Vinchester losing that horse, allowing that boar to come in, and just not knowing that these vills were here. He would have killed 3 vills. Easy 3 vill kills, and he would have more food himself. This game might be over already. But ACCM stayed in this. He's in a good spot now, and this game might go... This might go the distance, but as I say that, the archers move over here. And ACCM very exposed. He had the scouts, right? But he looped his scouts the other way, I think, because he had this hole in his wall. And he wanted to make sure that there was no new army sneaking in there. And, oh, no. ACCM, now these vills have been found. This is brutal. Really needs to get some counter damage in now. And Vinchester needs to learn about making spearmen in feudal, because there's going to be a lot of scouts from ACCM coming his way. Yikes. Like, if these scouts could get over to Vinchester's base right now, they could absolutely return the favor. Vinch is not walled. Vinch has got to manage that eco. Vinch microing his archers. He'll lose these archers. But he will have some more back at home. He just needs some spears. And he's going to queue up a few spearmen now. 7-0 eco KD, but ACCM's lost 8 villagers because he lost a boar. Or, well... Maybe lost more than 1 boar, but what I meant to say was he lost a villager to a boar. I'm not ready to give up on ACCM here until Vinchester is able to protect himself in some of these areas. And oh my god. He was thinking, where am I exposed? He pulled his army to the farms, and he just had the perfect timing there on getting that wood line walled up. Still, though, ACCM's eco, it's not the worst. But it is... whatever is right before the worst. Becoming the worst. This is also a reason why I talked about adding spears. This is also why I think Vinch is so against adding them sometimes. Because it's like, what have they done? They haven't done too much because of ACCM's micro here. I think something that players need to think about in the long run here is TCing this big wood line, because that is just so much easier than dealing with the other wood lines where you're going to overchop. Vinchester will be on the way to Castle H. This is after losing 2 straight. Won the first 2, and then lost 2 in a row because ACCM refuses to quit. First villager kill from ACCM. Well played from him. Dropped the tower. He was clearly very concerned that he was going to be hit there with some sneak archers. Didn't end up being the case, of course. And, scouts ran in, got excited, and realized maybe we shouldn't be here. And Vinchester thinks he's trapping ACCM right now because he doesn't know that this is open. And I think he's like, okay, I don't see the scouts. So it's probably not a trap. But he felt like a god for a second there. Scouts still running through, looking for Vill kills. There are some weak Vills around. Vinchester actually moved one of his weak Vills from one of the exposed farms to the ones next to the TC, which is smart. And archers are going to go forward now from Vinch. That's the right play. Your spearmen are here to defend. You can't just sit at home with your archers. You need to go get some kills here. Get some damage done. The worry I have for ACCM as he kills another villager is actually just his resources are not looking great. Like, he's going to make it to castle at a time where you could normally do a lot of great things. And he's not going to be broken by any means. But it's really tough for him to afford a lot. He's no blacksmith upgrades, and he still only has 400 food, so... But I do think the positive is that Vinch is going to be upgrading 10 archers, right? Maybe 8 or 9 if he isn't careful about the tower. And everywhere Vinch goes right now, he's just going to run into some type of wall. So that's good. Scout from ACCM comes over. And it's going to be Step Lancers again for ACCM. You get to 6 Step Lancers, you can hop on these crossbows with just the first armor upgrade and bloodlines. But I think the real key with these Step Lancers is going for the raids. God, I hate these reeds on this grass terrain because it's so hard for me to see it. I think Vinchester's fully walled. But it seems like there's holes. It's really not... I don't know what it's like as a player, but I guess a lot of players are using mods to change their trees anyways, but I just keep looking at this thinking that there's just these gaps in the walls when there's no gaps at all. Scouts using the time where there's a distraction to get some kills. And they do get a Vil kill. That's 3 in a row for ACCM. But now he has to focus on dealing with the camels and crossbows. 3 TCs for Vinch. So Vinch should have... As this game goes on, he's going to have a better economy. And he actually sees a palisade and says, I'll focus here. Ooh, that's so frustrating for ACCM. That's something that has to be housewalled. When you housewall all of this and not this, it's really painful. Oh, man, that's really painful. And I think Vinch, it's a bit interesting, but I think he recognizes that that is enough where ACCM has to come deal with him. And so he was a little worried there. And now he sees the tower, snipes the Vil. And he will happily just sit here. What you do here, guys, this is so smart, is you sit here. You don't go further because you want more reinforcements to come in, right? Because if you go too far, this could be re-walled. But as is, this cannot be re-walled if your army is protecting it. And when you see your opponent build a tower on their farms, that's amazing for you when your eco has been looking pretty solid behind this. So, also really like the Cav Archer switch from Vinchester here. Calpit, I think camels is good. I think adding the camels is good against the crossbows. I wouldn't complain about the knights either, to be honest with you. Because, you know, it's kind of either or. Step Lancers trying to break through. The gate is actually being repaired. And poor ACCM was hoping to break through. He doesn't have enough. That's so well calculated from Vinch. As Vinch is here. This feels like game 1 all over again. Like, Vinch on these types of maps is just going to play amazing. And that makes me favor Vinchester for at least one of the next 2 games. Because we've got Socotra and we have Spiral. I feel like Vinchester could definitely play with great army control on Spiral. But it's just been one of those sets, right? It's like one player... I don't want to say dominates, but, you know, one player seems the better player and the next player struggling, and then those roles have just kind of reversed. Mongols have a 50% win rate against Mongols here? Well, no, it's actually 0% win rate. Mongols are horrible. They have a 0% win rate against Mongols. And simultaneously 100%, or no, simultaneously 0%. That will change after this game, though. I don't think there's been any Mongol v Mongols yet, which is why I said that. But what you said is going to be correct soon. Cav Archers was such a good decision. I mean, Mangadai are great. But you can't wait around for that castle, and he already had the archer range. So much for not getting value from the crossbows. The crossbows have been perfect. And the idle time for ACCM is way too high. He doesn't have an army that can deal with this. It just... I mean, it's good for Vinchester that, you know, giving ACCM a little bit more breathing room than maybe he should have didn't come back to haunt him here. I do not see this game going on much longer for anyone but ACCM. ACCM would somehow believe that he could still come back here. But those Vils are going to eject from the tower. They'll be exposed. They will die. The monk can't get conversions. He still can't take much gold at all. He's got villagers. There's villagers from Vinchester coming this way now. We're going to see a castle drop from Vinchester. And this castle, this is going to end the game. That's a perfect castle. It denies all the stone and gold. It's on the hill. And there's no way ACCM can stop that. I just love, like, when Vinchester takes control with army, he is sick. I would say the one thing is he does occasionally miss micro units, but he's miss microing where you would expect someone to miss micro because he's doing so much. But, like, when he's on, man, it's kind of like Tato yesterday. Like, he is on. Yeah, Arabia and this game is just fantastic. But the difference between this game and Arabia is that this game he had more boars, and this game ACCM lost 2 vills in Dark Age. Like, they weren't really on even footing come Feudal Age. So, while nothing is easy, I feel like it was easier for Vinchester here than maybe it was in some of the other games. Wow. Only ACCM gets castle dropped on his face and has an army of 4 and says, you know what? Let's keep trying. I'll remind you, I have an electrician coming to my house later today. ACCM, come on, bro. I already pushed the time back because of you. The second series will start soon after this one. So we do have another series today to enjoy. Dude, guys, 2 years ago, people really started to talk about how ACCM never resigns. He's gotten worse. And normally I'd say, well, I can't fault someone for fighting, you know. But, like, come on. At this point, maybe even I'm falling out of, reasons why he should stay in games. Repairing this TC to keep the villagers alive. Building some houses here and slowly losing these vills to some CA. Vinchester says, I guess I need a second castle on his face. So we're going to go for the second castle there. I feel like these moments are good for Vinch, though, right? Like, Vinch gets to settle his mind if he was nervous. You get to feel that control you have over the opponent. Feel that dominance, which I think helps. And your opponent is like, you're basically, watching them flounder here. It would definitely make me feel good being in Vinchester's position. If it was a ranked game, I might even get to the point where I'm a little bit annoyed. But in the tournament, players are so much more focused than we are as casters or viewers, and sometimes they don't think about it in the same way. But yeah, this game is very over. So very, very, very over. A great game from Vinchester. I'm so surprised that ACCM decided to commit to that one boar. The 2 boars with that one villager. Maybe he felt like he absolutely had to. I don't know what the boar difference was at that point, but... Alright, here's the counterattack. Big counterattack here from ACCM. Big counterattack. And, oh, doesn't work out. Calls to GG. Alright. Calls to GG 4 seconds before Vinchester was an imp as well. So he didn't even know how bad it truly was. Well played, Vinchester. Vinchester up 3-2. Yeah, I mean, again, Dark Age, so important on this map. I've seen a lot of games where lots of villagers die there. As unfortunate as it is for a game to be not decided in Dark Age, but for someone to have a massive lead just because of the whole boar shenanigans. That is what this map normally, especially with the Mongols War, is about. So, but take nothing away from Vinch because his micro and his control, particularly in early Castle Age, was insane. And he might have had a lead in Dark Age, but he had that lead in Dark Age because of just outplaying his opponent. Oh, yeah, the statistics are unfortunately broken. We'll go to the game for the statistics, but Vinchester's just going to be ahead, I think, in every resource collected. There's no way where he's not ahead in every resource collected. Collected so much more there. Double the golds, 3,000 more wood, food, had so much more stone, and yeah, Vinchester 1 win away from moving on now. All right, game 6 here, folks. Man, it's been a great series. We got Vinchester in the blue again, playing as the Berbers. And then we've got the Malians for ACCM. Now, the map is Spiral. This is one of my favorite maps. And ACCM and Vinchester both know this map very well. There is a fence. It's kind of a unique thing that traps the cow and the sheep. Both players find their berry area, and they free the cow and the sheep. So the berries and the deer are a bit of a distance away, and that means the water is going to be closer to the 2 players here. So you'll see players come out here to dock. There's always 3 deep fish, and that's it, but it's always enough to really be beneficial and really be worth taking. I think the Malians are the more standard civilization for this map. Like I said, you're probably going to dock, right? That's a wood building, as are all the houses and like basically everything else you build in the game. That's discounted with the Malians. So Malians are just really good in hybrid situations because of the wood savings. They're also good if they want to transition into pretty much any type of land military, honestly. They're good with infantry, which we probably won't see too much of here. But stable units, archer units, they're some of the best at that. So Berbers, as this villager is wandering home, and Vinchester realizes that Berbers more of a stable focused civilization. They don't have an eco bonus beyond the faster vills. So I think for Berbers, it's important to take some good engagements because in theory, you're going to have less to work with. That is, again, in theory. But yeah, maybe very much in practice as well, honestly, because you just don't have, you can't make as many buildings at the same time, for example. So, but I think if this turns into like stable units, like knights, that's where Berbers shine, right? Cheap knights, cheap camels could be strong here. So, and Malian's not having helps, as Freezing Point says. Freezing Point read my mind, or maybe I read his mind. Pretty big deal here, but Malian camels are also really strong. Malians also have monks. We could still go pikes in Castle Age. This map oftentimes comes down to what type of control do you have long term, because you only have so much stone and gold next to your TCs, and there's these other areas where you need to move to. I think these guys have played this map enough to know that that's the situation. And we'll look for those areas. Yo, Ken Dog, what's up, man? Says, cheers for helping me sleep soundly over the years. Thanks for the 3 years, Ken Dog. Happy that all my energy and effort and creativity, when I'm creative, helps you fall asleep. Makes me feel real good about myself, bro. Appreciate the love, though. Thank you, Hunts, for the prime. Agent, what's up? Thanks for almost 2 years, my friend. So they should know that both players have docked. And I've seen players send vills to dock here in the past. I think there's arguably more reason for it because the one fish is there. I don't know. Oh, God, it's going to be militia for ACCM. And Vinchester, I think he's paranoid that he's going to be docked. And I said in my intro that we would probably not see infantry. And I think Vinchester is not expecting men-at-arms. It's just not as common these days. And I can't tell you the last time I've really seen that on this map. I covered a lot of Spiral, and it was almost always scout opening. It was like scouts into archers or something. So he's still double-checking this, Vinchester. And oh, man, this could be brutal. This could be brutal. This could take us to a Game 7. ACCM is trying not to make it obvious that he spotted this. Making it obvious would be doubling back and like getting really close to the vills and moving around nonstop. So he kind of moves away for a second. And now he's going to go in for the kill. If the barracks gets denied, it's GG. If the barracks is denied, it is completely game over. Vinchester, at the very least, you need to complete the barracks here. He didn't know about it, guys. He was confused. And he's trying to quick wall. He does actually quick wall one vill. I don't know if the barracks can complete right away, though. Like, that villager... Oh, wow. Okay, the villager completes the barracks. That actually could have been so much worse for Vinchester. So well played to him. But the delayed barracks means that the range is delayed as well. So a head start for ACCM with his archer range, which is already producing. And you know what would have been so sick is you do this, Vinchester has to quick wall his life away, and then you just go bam and come forward with a dock. That would be really good. Vinchester does already have a fire galley, but advantage ACCM right now. This is just a lot of control. But I would be dead, right? Like the fact that Vinchester only lost one vill is still kind of okay. He's keeping his vills alive. I assume focusing to make sure he doesn't overchop here. A really impressive job from him. Okay, so ACCM, I'm thinking about this. Of all the 16 players in this event, I think I might see Man-at-Arms from ACCM more frequently than most of the players in the top 16 in this event. Do you guys know why? Like, what aspects does ACCM do differently with Man-at-Arms? This is just a theory. But I have some, like, Arabia memories of him going Man-at-Arms a lot when other players wouldn't as well. Okay, I'm going to tell you why I think. And obviously it's multifaceted. There's a lot of different things. But he goes fast aggression into greed. Whereas a lot of other players will go Man-at-Arms. And then it's like Man-at-Arms, try and go Archers, try and go Fletching, still play open. No, no, no. He's like Man-at-Arms, greed. And the other player who does that is Doubts. It's like the Man-at-Arms are eventually going to die. What it gives you is a lot of time to play safe. And he was greedy with like Horse Collar, for example. And these Man-at-Arms are slowly going to get picked off. But yeah, I kind of like the approach. And it's not like he doesn't have a follow-up as well. Like it's calculated greed. I don't even know if walling up could be considered greed, to be honest with you. But he certainly did that quite quickly. And he had the Man-at-Arms around, so he knew that the Archers from Vinchester would never be coming towards him. So now Vinchester needs to have enough ranged units to deal with Man-at-Arms and Archers that are going to have Fletching. It's a tough spot. You want to make ranged units, but your Berbers, and you would love to be able to find value with your ranged units in Feudal. So it feels comfortable to just stop making them. What you don't want is to take some bad fights here, and then you have to continue to make ranged units with a Civ that normally wants that stable up. Yeah, ACCM is a beast with Aztecs. I remember him playing... like, Aztecs are a bit out of favor for a lot of pros these days, and I just have, like, some vivid memories in my mind when thinking about this whole Man-at-Arm topic, where he plays Aztecs just beautifully. Because Aztecs get strongest in the Castle Age, right, with the Monks and with the Eagles, so the style of fast opening, quick follow-up into a really convincing Castle Age time seems pretty strong there. Let's keep in mind, this gold will be gone soon. There's only 800 gold remaining. He's gone through half of that. And that means you probably shouldn't sell your stone on this map. You need to save your stone so you could TC. Speaking of stone, we got Morville's going to stone for Vinchester. Any Camel Archer fans out there? I think this is a dangerous situation for Vinchester. Like, he's going to try Camel Archers, but where does he place a castle? Right? Very concerned that he's just going to die to crossbowmen if he doesn't have an answer to them. Because, like, ACCM is not stopping Archer production. He is definitely going to go for crossbow. And I just don't know if Vinch is expecting that many crossbows at this point. He hasn't seen much of ACCM's base this whole game. He thought it was going to be a forward dock, patrolled here, didn't expect the Men-at-Arms, and then, you know, long story short, he just lost full control. I really like how ACCM's played this. I think we get a Game 7 here, folks. Game 7 on Socotra. Look at this as well. He's going to add a scout. He actually will kill these skirms. These skirms can't survive. Right now, Vinchester's just looking for information, not necessarily kills. And the information is that his opponent has a stable. And a lot of archers. But yeah, ACCM understands that he needs to expand. So he's going to walk out here and build a TC in this area right when he reaches Castle Age. If Vinchester was in Castle Age 2 minutes faster, the castle situation's not too bad. But because his opponent's going to be in Castle Age right after him, he needs something to allow his castle to go up. This is all house walled, so this area is kind of protected. In theory, he could, like, castle here. Or castle here. Does he have a market? Oh, man, come on, market. There we go. Yeah, so he's going to go Mangonel, and he's going to drop a castle. Well, this is the first time I've ever seen Camel Archer on this map. Camel Archer is really good against Malians. Camel Archer is actually insane against Malians. Malians like bracers, so they don't really have the best of skirms. They also don't get Arbalest. But normally when you see this, you should understand that your eco is in a better spot. And that's something that ACCM can live with and be happy with. The siege hops out. ACCM didn't kill a Vil. And now ACCM's like, okay, we're up against Camel Archers. Interesting. Oh! Vinchester found those Vils! Vinchester denied the TC with 3 archers. Oh my god, that is disgusting from Vinchester. So he delays the TC. He kills the Vils. So that's maybe a 7 or 8 villager swing if you think about it. Wow. And he didn't lose a single one and was fully prepped to defend from the crossbow play from ACCM. Dang, that's sick. That's sneaky, man. I mean, but we did say players know they need to expand on this map. And so he thought about it, was looking around, and ended up finding what he wanted there. Outpost! Giving plenty of vision there for Vinchester, but ACCM notices that. I mean, still, it's going to be TC number 2, and then TC number 3 for ACCM. Like, he's going to have a Vil lead. But, I mean, it would be a 10 villager lead already if this TC would have gone up right away. And you see how ACCM's kind of returning the favor here? I love this. He says, okay, my turn. I'm going to just park on your gold. And now Vinch has to react to that as he's microing here. And he doesn't notice. Oh, he might notice this, actually. And he just clicks that villager away. So he can still micro here and still complete the TC. Should go up, but there are knights on the way. The knights are coming in fast. And ACCM's good micro here has given him time to do that. If he lost his army here, Vinch would send the Camel Archers right over. There is one Camel Archer on the way. Oh, this is nice for ACCM. This is a really good position for him. 10 villager lead already. Should be able to snipe at least 2 more. Actually noticed that villager was weak as well. That's amazing for him to focus on that. Gets... Wow. A total of 8 villager kills so far in this game. And it's 39 Vils for Vinch, 56 for ACCM. We're going to a game 7, guys. Unless the Camel Archers are truly as strong as I... Well, I mean, they are truly as strong as I said. Unless they're stronger than I said. Because that is a unit that I think is... I mean, it's insane for Castle Age. It's got 7 base attack in Castle Age as a ranged unit. Bonus damage against Cav Archers. Mobility. It might be the best non-gunpowder ranged unit for Castle Age. Or maybe in general. Because a lot of people would argue Camel Archer is better than Mangudai. I'd say it's situational. Malians can make Cav Archers, but they have very bad Cav Archers, so that's not really an option, but they do get Cav Archers, to the person who asked that. I think for now, though, you need to go for, for now, you need to go for Elite Skirm instead of Crossbow. Just, I know that you're going to have some problems tech tree-wise, but at least, like, Skirms are fine for now. It's just more so they don't scale in the later stages. ACCM's eco looks pretty good. Could maybe seed a couple more farms, but it's nothing crazy. We'll drop another TC over here. He knows the Camel Archers are down here, and that is the strength and the weakness of the Camel Archers now. If they're in one spot, they dominate, but then they're only in that spot. So the way to play against this type of unit is to spread out. And that's what ACCM is going to do. Ballistics is in for him now. He'll have a hill to hold to. He should be okay. Vinchester still behind by 25 villagers here. A couple Camel Archers going this way, and Vinchester just continues to switch sides. And this was a risky TC in the first place for ACCM. There's always going to be more Camel Archers out in the field, and he's kind of giving some opportunities here for Vinch. But honestly, Vinchester's just making this. He's creating some magic out of nothing. Because the archers on that TC earlier, those Camel Archers there, not something that you're really expecting to have happen. 12 crossbows with ballistics now for ACCM. No ballistics for Vinch, but Vinch could just run in. Or he could maybe use the mobility to dodge some of the shots. See how many more shots it takes to kill the Camel Archer. And the Camel Archers are diving, and now with Thumb Ring, they'll fire even faster, but no ballistics. So he's at least weakening some of these because he's getting the hits in. Vinchester's missing a lot of shots. Guys, is Vinch going to do this with Camel Archer right now? Is Vinch going to do this? He's closing in. We have a demo on the way out of the dock. Vinch has to stay away from the shoreline. ACCM really struggling for army numbers right now. He's going to lose control of his hill. Demo needs to land. Can he get lucky here? He's losing his fish traps too. Can he somehow hit some of these? Right here, he might be able to. Vinch! Vinch! He's a madman! He stayed on the water. Vinch is an absolute madman. I would be so far away from that dock if I saw that flag. Guys, ACCM's struggling now. And the thing is, he's got that Vill lead, but villagers bring you army. His army is dying. He's got too many areas to protect. He doesn't have enough protection. Vinchester, you deserve to get hit by a demo here. Don't do this to me. Sorry, guys. I get emotional sometimes. He's stressing me out. I think that's fair to say. Seems like ACCM wants a castle maybe towards the middle. There's a lot of gold there. Patrolling from Vinchester here to double check. Make sure there's no resources being taken on that side. I love the light cav choice. And oh man, I love that castle from Vinch. That'll be a castle that will control the stone and gold. Take out a town center. And it will also give him another castle for Camel Archer production. Ballistics on the way for Vinch. Vinch is going to have fully upgraded Castle Age Camel Archers. Guys, I understand that Camel Archer is strong. But Vinch has honestly done such a sick job with them. You could take nothing away from Vinchester here. He's been behind economically. But his trades have been fantastic. Interesting. Okay, I have to speak to Capture Age about a feature that's not showing up here. Resources destroyed isn't an option for me right now. And I gotta tell you, that is really an option I'd like to see because this, that's an important stat. Vinchester's just been killing so much. Resources collected, of course, is fantastic, but if your units continue to die, that becomes a problem. Light Cav Camel Archer is so much better than ACCM's army right now. And ACCM's going to drop a TC here? Can you do that? Oh, ACCM falling apart. He doesn't know where to go for resources right now, guys. Camel with crossbow and skirm, though, could be the answer. Imp now on the way for Vinch. Crazy stuff. And with Imp, he could trap this castle down from ACCM. Vinchester's played like... He's played like a beast today. He's played amazing. I mean, ACCM was top 4 in Hidden Cup. Second best performer in some people's minds. Obviously, I would maybe disagree with that because he didn't make the finals, but he did run into Hera early. Or earlier than Leary. Vinch's eco is still rather fragile here. To lose this army would be painful. Let's not forget that. He only has 83 vills. But he will have a castle towards the middle here as well. I think, honestly, while I like the Light Cav edition, I'm not going to say that that's a bad move. I think when you're an Imp, you just put all of your resources into upgrading your Camel Archers, though. Like, Light Cav are for the now. Camel Archers is your key long term. Vinch can simply run away from bad engagements. ACCM's heart is going to sink when he sees Imp is in for Vinchester here. He's probably not going to believe it. Well, maybe he'll believe it because he's lost a lot, right? But based on how the game was flowing, it felt like ACCM had such a good position. And Camel Archer felt so risky when we saw that he was planning on it, but it was actually the play. He's made it look so easy here. Vinchester's army control in Castle Age has really been the thing that has won him this series, if he wins this series here, in my opinion. Just in all the games. His Castle Age play has been phenomenal. So fun to watch him just dance around. Now, he's got a very weak group of camel archers here. But he's going to be an imp before ACCM even clicks. And look at all the vills around for ACCM. These vills are exposed and running over here. These vills will be exposed soon because the TC will go down. These vills will be exposed because this castle will get trapped down. Like, ACCM's whole base is just going to be pushed. He has clicked up to imp. It's in the safest possible TC, which is hilarious to me. He certainly realizes that he's going to get pushed. But he does not get bracer for these range units, right? Now, he can snag chemistry, and he can snag it very quickly because the university upgrades are speedy with the Malians, but a lot of his vills, like, he needs wheelbarrow or something. These vills are moving around, and they're moving around at a pretty slow pace because he doesn't have that upgrade. Can you stop camel archers? Like, I don't know if you can, and we also have heavy camel for Vinch. Vinch is expecting his opponent to go for... Oof. Vinch is expecting his opponent to be going for heavy camel here, which is probably the best option for the Malians. A lot of people are going to say champions, and I understand that thinking because the high pierce armor, the good against archer champions, but that's good against standard archers. Camel archers are so much faster than champions, and they have more attack than a standard archer, so I just think champion would be a misplay here. Camel archers are dying to the skirms and the crossbows. ACCM has been expanding his eco. He can't stop this castle from going up, most likely. But he's still holding what eco he does have, giving it time to kick in here and get some resources because this castle's being repaired. He's taken some pretty good fights against the camel archers. Camel archers are pretty weak. And Vinchester, he's checked before, and he didn't see anything over here. And he's going to look again. I don't think he's expecting a TC here, actually. I think he's just trying to raid the woodline. But he melts the camels, and he'll see the mining camp, and now he knows that ACCM's over here. But that's a good TC spot for the gold, at least for ACCM. Because gold is actually the worry. Because he doesn't have the middle, right? And he doesn't have this gold. He will be running really low on golds. He also has this TC on a golden stone. Honestly, like, Vinchester might start to get a little dizzy having to run around and chase so much. And the camel archer mass isn't that big anymore. And it's 140 villagers for ACCM. ACCM can get chemistry. He can get Farimba. Really needs to do without producing out of these stables because he's running into the castle. Castle's killed 4 units now. But I think we've all been there. And I guess the idea is if you have the greater eco, you can get away with tossing some units away, right? But remember, Malian camels are only special if you get Farimba. If you don't get Farimba, you're just a regular camel. And Berber camels are at least cheap. So if anyone's going to camel here, it's going to be the Berbers. ACCM fighting for his tournament life. He's always a contender in these events. But when I saw Vinchester was up against ACCM first round, my heart already began to break because that meant only one person could advance. It's a really competitive round of 16 matchup. It's a camel war. They have the same upgrades, and there's more camels there for Vinchester, and the camel archers are also shredding these camels, and this is going to be the fight that probably gives Vinchester the game. I mean, he's still got more stone, guys. He's still got more stone to build more castles, which he'll probably do now. He's going to castle here next to this gold. He'll clear up those ranged units. These villagers are all evacuating. You just cannot beat this combination that Vinchester is sending your way right now if you're ACCM. You would have to have controlled the game in Castle Age, which he tried to do, but those camel archers were just all over him. I think he was very late to Elite Skirm. He stayed on crossbow, and then by the time he got to Elite Skirm, it felt like it was, you know, we had other things as an option for Vinch. I thought Vinch was dead here. I was saying the words this would go to a Game 7, and well, Vinchester says, no, sir. I know how to use... I know how to micro units. Mobile range units with Vinchester controlling it is just a different beast. It really is. We might see some desperation demos here from ACCM to try to, you know, land a shot on the Treb or the Camel Archers. There's just so many areas he's getting raided. Vinch is here. Vinch is trying to break through here. There's 35 heavy camels for Vinch. There's only 13 for ACCM. Vinch doesn't have all of his camels here, though. Feels like these camel archers are still good enough. They're not elite, by the way. It feels like they're good enough to still kill the camels off pretty quickly. It wouldn't surprise me if we have elite camel archer coming in at some point for Vinchester here. He's focusing primarily on the standard camel upgrades, though, which makes sense. He's got way more of them. And he's not going to have many camel archers anymore. ACCM lost most of his villagers down here. These villagers are actually still alive somehow, but that won't be for long because this will be trapped. And Vinch just waltzing from the middle to drop this castle. Now he's going to have, what, 6 castles? ACCM, known for fighting. I expect more of a fight, but he's not really fighting with any map control whatsoever at this point. There's no way he can come back. Even if he had, you know, some magic unit here that could kill 10 units for every 1 loss, he would still lose this game. He just cannot make any army when he doesn't have the eco. And he calls the GG. Vinchester wins. What a fun series, guys. So freaking strong from both of these two. And in the end, I think it was just this unit here, the Camel Archer. It was just the efficiency with the trades was so fantastic here from Vinchester. I love the work there from him today. I think ACCM is going to be kicking himself a little bit about this game. It felt like his opening was very strong. It felt like he had a good position for the eco, but it was Vinchester just creating some magical moments. And the first one I got to think of is the TC denial. It's wild to me that this ended up happening. Now, maybe a little bit of luck, right? But he is in a situation now where he's thinking primarily Castle Age. He's going to be massively behind because his opponent is going to have army and he basically has nothing. But what he did have were these 3 archers, and he said, you know what? I'm not going to forget about them. I'm going to search because I know this map is about expanding. And these archers were the jackpot. He kills the 4 vills, but remember, the TC being denied means ACCM can't even get, you know, more villagers then. So that's why I said it was probably like a 7 or an 8 villager swing. This was insane. Combined with not losing a villager on the castle, and then just the follow-up was wild. You continue on in that game, guys, and like, we're talking an 11 villager lead right now for ACCM. A 17 villager lead here. Vinchester played like an animal. An absolute animal. I know that he killed the villagers here, but he still maybe should have been dead. But I'm going to say this is the moment where I think ACCM made a mistake. He continued to make crossbows. And I think here he has a good enough eco where he needs to go for some skirmishers. He ends up going for skirms after his crossbows get picked off. But I think investing into skirms with ballistics is better here. It means that Vinchester can't take the engagements that he did. This was also a little risky. But honestly, that's just ACCM style. He knew he needed to win with eco. And again, it's just like Vinchester. He sent a Vill to outpost that. The Vill spotted that. He kills more Vills. It was just everywhere. So, well played to Vinch, man. I just said it at the start of the day. I did say Vinchester would win, and I don't know. I feel like Vinchester's back to peak shape for the first time in a bit. Really exciting to see that. Bummed for ACCM, of course, but I think he brought his best against Vinchester, who was just better on the day.